Hey guys, Fan Sharks back here for the video, guys. I want to apologize real fast for the banging in the background. Currently, people working on the roof, so they're right above me, so you might hear some banging throughout this video. Alright, starting off right away, guys. This is my Week 3 power rankings, and I'll be honest with you, this was a crazy Week 2. Obviously, kind of got more realistic to what we expected. The Bengals really looked better in the second half of that Ravens game. They picked it up. They look good. The Ravens obviously look good. Last night's debacle, I actually live streamed it between the Steelers and the Browns. Nick Chubb's out for the year. It it was a crazy debacle, let's be honest. Nonetheless, though, let's go ahead and get right into this. So starting off right away, the top two teams to start off this list are exactly what they were last week, which is not surprising at all. We have the 49ers and we have the Eagles. Obviously, Eagles number one, 49ers number two. And both these teams actually had a very close games this week. Vikings played the Eagles, and the Vikings came back at the end of that Eagles game and only lost by 7 points. The Eagles had the game pretty much the whole entire game. Somehow, some way, almost choked that game away. Kind of like the whole how they did against the Patriots. Eagles are such a weird team right now. I don't know what to expect from them, but they're winning, so they're the best team in the league. The 49ers, again, another team here, which we thought after that Steelers victory, we were going to see, just really great football from them against the Rams. A divisional opponent, but, kind of an opponent we expect them to handle pretty easily. Nope. They actually played pretty dang bad against them. The Rams ended up losing by 7 points. Puka, the brand new receiver they have, had 126 yards on 15 receptions. Kyren Williams, the new running back, he had a great day too. So it was a really interesting situation where this 49ers defense actually did not look that great versus the Rams. And if you look at the Rams in that game, they got sacked twice. When their offensive line already had so many problems going into the season, but the 49ers, who have that great defensive line, could not get after the Rams, which was heavily surprising. All right, number 3 here is going to be the Chiefs. Again, they beat the Jaguars. I do believe the Jags had so many opportunities in this game to get this W, and they did not get this W in any way. So it is what it is, but Chiefs go ahead and come in at number 3 here. Number 4 here we have is the Bills. They absolutely demolished the Raiders. I mean, it was not even close. In all honesty, it was 38-10. So the Bills are back, which is not really great to see because it looks like the Chiefs and the Bills are back now. And we're still kind of getting our stuff together over here in Cincy. Number 5 is the Dolphins. Again, like I said, no changing here. They did play a close game versus the Patriots, but it was, again, versus the Patriots here, divisional opponents. Never easy for those type of games to happen. It was in New England, so it was, them traveling to another place. This game was very interesting the way it ended with a lateral pass to, what was it? A lateral pass to Strange, the guard. And they tried to get a first down on 4th and 4. And I'm going to tell you right now, Mike Gesicki, he's brand new to the Patriots, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you're a Patriot fan or a Patriot player, you should never want to lateral the ball. After last year against the Raiders with Chandler Jones, you should never want to lateral the ball again. Number 6 is actually going to be the Dallas Cowboys. I had them moving up one spot. I mean, their defense absolutely took out Breece Hall from that game. And it wasn't even an injury. Breece Hall only had 4 rushes in that game because there was really no reason to run him. There was nothing they could do with Breece Hall in that game. So they had to make it come down to Zach Wilson beating them, and Zach Wilson threw 3 interceptions in that game, and it just looked absolutely horrendous. That Cowboys defense is so freaking good. It's going to be hard to see any team beat them anytime soon. But I do have them moving up one spot because last week I had them at number 7. Alright, so next spot we have on this list here is going to be number 7, and that's going to be the Detroit Lions. And I do have them moving up 2 spots, and I know it's crazy to say that because they did lose. They lost in overtime to the Seahawks by 6 points, and this is kind of repeat of last year and how last year went at the end of, the matchup between these two teams, where the Seahawks, Lions had no defense. And this game was pretty much that. There was no defense in this game. It was a back and forth, just scoring fest, and again, like I said, this ended up resulting in an overtime game between the two teams. So Not surprising completely, but I actually do have the Lions above the Seahawks here. I know they're both the same record, but I think the Lions played better in the 2 weeks than the Seahawks did. Number 8, Jacksonville Jaguars. Even though they did lose to the Chiefs, again, they had so many opportunities to win that game in that game. It was kind of disgusting how they played. But at the same time, though, they took care of business week 1 versus the Colts. Last week, they looked like the same old team where they looked good. They didn't look bad. They just, definitely missed some opportunities. Number 9 is going to be the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, they beat us. They beat us in the jungle, and it sucks. It really does. But, Lamar Jackson looks good. Odell Beckham yet again got hurt against us. He has never finished a game against us, and that struggle will continue for him. He didn't really do anything in that game anyway, but the continued struggle will always happen. So, number 9, I have them up one spot from last week. They still look like a very good team. There's a lot of injuries, and there's going to be more injuries probably down the line for them. Hopefully not, because, again, I don't want to ever see injuries, but it is what it is. Number 10, New Orleans Saints. New Orleans Saints, that game last night was so weird, man. It felt like it was over after like 20 minutes. And I don't mean like as in like the Saints blew them out. I mean like the game went by so quickly last night. That game went by so insanely fast. Like, for example, the Steelers game was in the second quarter when that game was over. That's how crazy fast that game went. But overall, I mean, the Saints are still taking care of business. They're still getting W's. They're starting off the season 2-0 here. And it's weird to put them inside the top 10 with everything being said, but they're getting the job done. And I can't really trash them for that said reason. Number 11 is the Falcons. They did go ahead and beat the Green Bay Packers. They just really just figured out, like, hey, listen, we should probably just run the ball every single play, and that might be our best friend. And that's what they're doing now. Bijan Robinson looked absolutely disgusting versus the Packers, and I kind of wish the Bengals would have taken him in that last draft. I'm not going to lie to you. Number 12 is going to be the Commanders. This obviously is versus the Broncos, and that game was really ugly. I mean, the Commanders really got blown out in that game for 90% of the game, and then they came back in the end. And it's not, how you start, it's how you finish, and that's really what it comes down to. There was a Hail Mary at the last play of the game, which was tipped up and caught for a touchdown by the Broncos. That, of course, ended up being a failed two-point conversion. Whether or not that was PI in the failed two-point conversion, it is what it is. But they got another W, and they're continuing to find ways to win. The Cardinals game was ugly. That game was ugly. But you know what? They're continuing to win. Number 13 here, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And, yeah, Buccaneers looked surprisingly good again. I mean, they beat the Bears, and Baker Mayfield looks like a capable starter. I don't think anyone really expected this other than the fact that Mike Evans is him. Mike Evans is Timothy, and he's getting the job done, which I think everyone kind of expected. Now, number 14 might surprise you, and it's actually the Cincinnati Bengals. And I know I had them at 18 last week, and you'll say, well, so they lost, and you moved them up 4 spots. Why is that the case? The reason why I moved them up 4 spots, even after a loss, is because they showed me in that second half of last week's game, their offense can get going. The first half wasn't the greatest, but the second half was a lot better. And they were able to move the ball pretty efficiently and get the ball down the field and make some key plays happen. We had 2 touchdowns to T. Higgins. We had some really good run plays. And I think that showed, in reality, showed that this offense is going to get going. Obviously, they're still dealing with injuries with Joe Burrow. But I moved up 4 spots because even in a loss does not mean that you're not going to show something that's good. Right? Just because you lose doesn't mean you're not showing something good. And they played a very good AFC North opponent, and they got the job done. So, I mean, they didn't get the job done, but they almost did. And that's really spells volume. They lost that game by 3 points, and a lot of that could be alluded to a pick they threw in the third quarter. All right, so number 15, Tennessee Titans. They beat the Chargers, man. And the Chargers, I don't even know what to think at this point. They're starting out the season 0-2. Obviously, they got, Justin Herbert got all that money, and now he's showing nothing with it, pretty much. And you make the argument with the Bengals, too, but that's beside the point. But Herbert is just, he's doing everything possible in this game, man. He's showing everything possible to win these games, and his defense just gives up in the end. They really do. His defense just collapses in the end. And we saw it last year in the playoff game, and I guess it's just going to continue this season. Number 16 is the Seattle Seahawks here. Another team that, again, they beat the Lions, but I still don't think they're that good just yet. maybe they will be in the said future. So going down this list here from after Seattle Seahawks, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, who won last night because their defense got that fumble recovery, or a sack fumble for 6. If it wasn't for that, I don't even think the Steelers would have won that game. Their offense looks pathetic, but their defense definitely looks as good as we thought. As good as advertised, really, their defense is. But their offense definitely looks pedestrian at best. And I'm saying that with the fact that they're looking better than all offense, right? But at the same time, though, it looks very pedestrian at best. Their defense looks really good. Matt Canada needs to be fired. All right, Packers. They lost to the Falcons. I have them at 18 here. Rams, same spot as last week. Browns, they lost Nick Chubb for the season. They looked pitiful in that game last night. They had a big 70-yard rushing touchdown, but they start the game off with a pick 6. I mean, there was like 17 turnovers in that game last night. 21 Raiders. Yeah, they got destroyed. The Giants go up 10 spots here from 32 to 22 because they actually play a game against the Cardinals. They got blown out by the Cardinals, and they came back and they blew out the Cardinals. That's an interesting situation. Colts, I have at 23. Anthony Richardson right now is in concussion protocol. Jets are 24. Chargers are 25. Panthers 26. Patriots at 27. Vikings at 28. Bears at 29. Broncos 30. And then Texans, Cardinals, 31-32. Guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys next one. Peace.